Welcome to the Bone Zone. That's right, I said it. It was weird, but I said it anyway. Hi, it's Ken Bone. I'm back. A lot of you watched my last video and I really appreciate it, so we'll go ahead and make another one. As a lot of you know, I recently did an AMA on Reddit, thinking that maybe 1 or 200 people would look at it. Turns out I got about 15,000 comments. So we're going to go over not quite all of them today. What was the process in order to actually ask the candidates your question? Did you sign a form, request using email, yada yada yada? I replied at the time, everyone on the stage wrote their own questions. We shared them only with the moderators, then the mods got to ask as many as possible while maintaining the flow of the debate. Let's expand on it a little bit. Everybody wrote 2 questions once we found out we were going to be on the debate. We didn't share them with anybody. We weren't supposed to talk to anybody about the questions. I wrote 2 questions, the one that you heard about energy and also one about student loans, which unfortunately we didn't have time to get to. We don't show them to anybody but the moderators. The moderators see them that morning, and then they consolidate all the ones that are the same and put them in the order they want to ask them. We get to as many as we can, and it really is as simple as that. Next question is kind of similar. How did you get selected to be in the debate audience? So Gallup does a random sampling of undecided voters in the area in which the debate is held. This time it was here in St. Louis at Washington University. So Gallup calls it's a random number. It's from Nebraska. You don't know who it is, but my life is really boring, so I answer whenever anybody calls me on the phone. Besides, I owe a lot of people a lot of money, so it was probably a bill collector, and I figured I better settle up with them before they come to break my thumbs. So I answer, and it's a Gallup poll, and they ask me who I'm going to vote for, and I tell them, and they ask me how likely I am to change my mind on a scale of 0 to 10. And I figured in this crazy crap show of an election, anything could have happened. So I didn't want to say 0, so I said 2, which was pretty close to not changing my mind no matter what, but it left me a little wiggle room. Most of the people that were on the debate stage were the same way. So when you see in the media that we're undecided, so we're dumb, it just meant that we were keeping an open mind. High Praise asked me, what did Bill Clinton say after the debate? He talked to me about the peak of the coal industry in the 20s and how it evolved with the nation's energy infrastructure over the years. He was actually very knowledgeable. I was taking pictures with my disposable camera of all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the TV cameras, because I thought they were neat, and I was tired of talking to politicians and stuff. And I heard behind me, hey! And I was like, what the hell? Hey, energy guy, hey, Ken, turn around. And I turn around, and it's President Clinton. He waves me over. That's the picture that a lot of people have seen of President Clinton going like this. That was him calling me over. He wanted to talk to me. Super nice, super personable guy. I don't think it was purely just because he's a politician. He actually seemed like a really nice dude who loved talking to people. And we talked a little bit about coal energy until his security team basically dragged him away and reminded him that his wife was waiting in the motorcade and they had to move. I got a couple of questions about my favorite charity that I've been donating all of my cash donations. 10% of all the cash that I make from being internet famous, which is not as much money as you think, internet. I'm not going to retire, for God's sake. But 10% of it goes to the St. Patrick Center here in St. Louis. And Oracle of Life asks, I love how you're using this moment for good. Aww. What does St. Patrick Center do for the homeless, and why is this issue out of many the most important to you? Well, St. Patrick's Center, I said in my response, provides temporary housing, which is that's not technically correct. St. Patrick's Center works with homeless shelters. The homeless shelters provide temporary housing for the homeless. St. Patrick's Center takes people from those shelters and from the street that come to them for help and put them in permanent housing. It's a Housing First initiative. So they help them with first and last month's rent and expenses and get them set up. And then once they are in permanent housing, then they start to help them with the root causes of homelessness. They help them to get away from being homeless. If you became homeless due to a mental illness or a lack of job skills or a substance abuse problem, no matter what it is, they have training or rehabilitation for you. They don't dangle a home in front of you like a carrot on a stick. They get you into a home. They treat you like a human being. They treat you the way everybody deserves to be treated, with a roof over your head. And then they help you get on your feet. It's about a year-long process. It's very expensive, but the success rate is phenomenal. I'll put the contact information for St. Patrick's Center in the description. If you want to donate, that would be fantastic. On a related note, we have another question. See, this is me using my very sophisticated stand that I have. I have a lot of technical equipment here. I'm using my laptop as a stand, so I don't have to look at my own fat head in my webcam while I'm talking. Barbie's little sister, who I think's named Skipper. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that off the top of my head. Barbie's little sister asks, "Hey Ken, can't wait to be you for Halloween. You're obviously really passionate about serving the homeless community. Is there any background as to why that's your charity of choice?" And this is an absolutely true story that makes me feel awful about myself every time I tell it. But all of you who have followed me on the internet know that I'm not afraid of oversharing a little bit, so here it goes. I saw a man with no teeth and no shoes standing on a corner in my new hometown when I moved there 3 years ago as I'm driving the moving van. Here I am bringing all my stuff to a bigger, better house, thinking what hot shit I am for being able to afford the place. Then I see him. I realize he's got nothing but the sign in his hand. People are driving by him, giving him no more mind than a street sign or a shrub. I drove by, reasoning that I was too busy to stop and help him out. It was moving day. Somebody else will give him a couple bucks. I never saw him again. Is he okay? Did he move out of town? Did he turn his life around? Did he die in a gutter, OD'd on heroin? I don't know. I'll never know, because I didn't give him the time of day. I was too busy pretending I had arrived. These are people who deserve love and happiness as much as me, as much as anyone. But that day to me, he was a shrub. Never again. Now, there are a few dozen homeless people here in the Belleville, Shiloh area that I see very regularly. I try to keep track of them and know as many of them by name as I can. Winter's coming on, it's getting cold, and it's just incredible to me that people drive by homeless folks and treat them like they're not there. I've been guilty of it before, and I feel bad about it. I didn't know this man's name because I never talked to him, and I never want to do that again. If you don't have money to give to homeless people, or if you're afraid that they're scamming you or something like that, I understand, because that does happen and it's a tragedy. But just give them the time of day. Say hi to them. Don't ignore them. Give them some food if you can, or donate to a great organization like St. Patrick's Center that can help the people who are truly in need. Enough serious questions for now. I hate serious questions. They're the worst. Kiefer J0415 asks, "Are you near or far-sighted?" I said, yes, which is actually true. I'm extremely nearsighted. I have like a -4 and a -4.5 in each eye. And now that I'm getting older, as a lot of you noticed that I'm not as young as I used to be, so thank you, comment section. I'm now a little farsighted as well, thanks to being old. I found myself doing this with my papers, having to adjust the focal length like an old person so that I can read them. So yeah, that's a real benefit of getting old. It's not all just about getting fat and losing your hair, although that does happen. Bertolf asks, "What will you be going as for Halloween?" See, this was before Halloween. A little time warp, internet. It's almost Thanksgiving, but this was before Halloween. "I hear the sexy Ken Bone will be popular. If you dressed as Ken Bone, you were dressed as the sexy Ken Bone, because there's no other version." You know, sexy Ken Bone was popular as hell, and I didn't get any money from all those sexy Ken Bone outfits. So if you sold sexy Ken Bone outfits and you want to send me some money, bring it on in. Give me a cut of that. Or just send it straight to St. Patrick's Center. I replied, "I'm already the sexy Ken Bone," which is true. So I'm thinking, bust out the old Jedi robe lightsaber combo and be Obi-Wan Ken Boney. And I was Obi-Wan Ken Boney. I almost broke the internet. People loved it so much. They love the fat Jedi. It makes them think anybody can be whatever they want. That's BS32 asked me, "Is the best part of this whole ordeal the karma from this post?" And I said, fake internet points are the best compensation, except money. I like money. But in seriousness, the best part of it is being able to help out causes like St. Patrick's Center, like the Megan Meyer Foundation, Backstoppers, Paws Chicago Animal Shelter, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. There are several charities I've been able to work with and help raise money for that I never would have been able to do before. And it's all thanks to people who are paying attention to me and listening to me ramble about stuff, like all of you, and I really appreciate it. So just raising awareness and money for these charities is its own reward, but also I did make some other reward. Almost a Time Lord asks, "What's the weirdest reaction from friends and family you've gotten so far?" I had an uncle who called me today. It was today when I wrote it. whatever, you get it, guys. My uncle seemed genuinely starstruck, as if we hadn't been sitting around drinking beer the week before. This one came in a little late to the AMA, and I didn't even see it at first. It came from Darab Fox, and they asked, "What do you think of Obama?" And this is one of the reasons I love the Reddit community so much. They found out for me by looking back through my post history. Not everybody who looked through my post history was this cool, so thank you to Burgeoning Philosoph. I guess he ran out of characters. Burgeoning Philosopher, I'm guessing. This is a quote from something else that I had written before. I'm a pretty conservative guy, in fiscal policy anyway. Do what you want with your own body. But I like Obama. You don't have to agree politically with someone to acknowledge that they seem like a good dude, right? Cue hate from ultra right-wing friends and family. And yeah, I think I'm a little more centrist or conservative than President Obama is. And I don't agree with everything he did. And he did what he thought was right. And I recognize that he's a great guy and seems like a wonderful person. And I'm not going to talk trash on him just because we don't agree with each other on everything politically. You don't have to agree about everything to get along. Oh, I love this answer. This is just going to be me talking about how smart I am for saying it. It sounds like I got it off one of those motivational posts. Maddie Bindahizzy asks, "Ken, you seem like a happy person who has their life together. Any advice for a young adult?" Say, be who you are. If people don't like who you are, they're not the right people to have in your life. And that's all there really is to it. I mean, you be the kind of person that you would want to meet. And if there are people that don't like it, that's too bad. There are 7.2 billion other people on the planet. Some of them will like it. So get used to it. No single question got me the amount of love and hate as this one. Avuncular Pederast asked me, "Hey Ken, who are some of your favorite musicians?" And I told him, Radiohead is my all-time favorite. Nobody blends genres like Tom York and the Boys. If everybody out there in the YouTube community wants to get me enough subs and views so that Tom York notices this and says hi to me, I will hug each and every one of you personally before I die. I will do my best anyway. This person asked, "Ken, if you were president, what steps would your energy policy to meet our blah 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 blah?" I'm so tired of that friggin' question. Anyway, obviously, reducing energy usage in the winter by providing everyone with stylish red cable knit sweaters. That wasn't my answer. That was a better answer than mine that Hi There Kate wrote for me. I made some dumb joke about how the candidates couldn't get along and took my question way off topic. But I'll make a whole video someday about what I would do about energy policy. The long and short of it is that our energy infrastructure is crumbling. It's very old. Just our power lines and the infrastructure aren't really capable of carrying renewable energy the long distances that it needs to go to get from where we can to produce it to where we need to use it. So we need to make a big investment in infrastructure. In the meantime, cleaner burning coal plants like mine can help us bridge the gap for the next, say, 20 years while we're transitioning to nuclear and renewables. But it's going to take a big investment. It's going to take a big effort, and we have to start now. If we don't start now, and we keep burning fossil fuels for the next 30, 40, 50 years, climate change is going to become irreversible if it's not already. Dub1808 asked me, pizza rolls or pizza bagels? No love for just actual pizza there, I guess. I say, porque no los dos. I spelled porque wrong. Sorry. But you don't fill out a sweater like I filled out mine by doing anything halfway. I love pizza everything. Now we've reached the part of the video where I laugh at my own jokes because I'm enamored with how clever I think I am. The Arnold Fans 1 asked, "Hi Mr. Bone, what sweater would win in a fight? There have been many famous sweaters worn by you, Cosby, Martha Stewart, and Mr. Rogers from the neighborhood. Whose sweater wins in a fight?" And then a second part of the question, which I did not answer. Didn't even answer this part for him. Sorry. So I respond, "Cosby sweater drops roofies into Stewart sweater's drink. Stewart sweater shivs Cosby sweater with a sharpened toothbrush as it slips into unconsciousness. Fred Rogers' OG sweater game wins by staying positive and not getting involved in the fight, just like Ken Bone. Yeah, me and Mr. Rogers, we chill in the neighborhood after this is over. We don't fight. Our sweaters don't fight. We get along real well." Somebody asked me about, I think, my fashion choices. And someone else in the community, Hammerhead, did some more research and found out for me. This was in response to a question that a transgendered person was asking. You know, if I say the wrong thing and it turns out to be unsensitive, please tell me what it was in the comments and educate me. Don't be a jerk. Let's learn together. Let's not freak out and call me intolerant if I use the wrong word. So here goes. A transgender person who was transitioning to becoming a male or having a male figure or a male body for the first time wanted to know how they could dress in the fall. So I told them in general I go with a knit sweater over a solid colored button shirt paired with khakis, a classic fall winter look that rarely goes completely out of style. And you know, that's true. It's gotten me a long way anyway. Shriver Scuba Diver asked, "Hey Ken, I'm a huge fan and fellow Missourian. I'm so happy that you asked legitimate questions about the environment and brought a lot more happiness to the debate. You're a national treasure, and I legitimately want to bake a cake for you and your wife. My question is, how did you meet her? Thanks for making the world a little nicer." Oh, that's really sweet. You know, I've been married to my wife for almost 13 years now. She's the best person that I ever met. The smartest thing I've done in my life is marrying her, locking her in early before I let myself go. The answer to how we met is we both worked at a bowling alley in Granite City called AMF Bowland. It's closed now. I was a lane attendant, which meant I walked around cleaning, throwing away beer bottles, and getting stuff from storage over to the bar and the snack bar to restock during the shift. She worked at the snack bar, which meant I didn't do any of the stuff listed above. I just watched her clean the grill when she bent to scrub it because I could see that ass was fat. I'd post some pictures, but seriously, all mine. The great Shazbot asked me, "What's the strangest thing someone tweeted at you in the wake of the debate?" And there have been a whole lot of tweets, hundreds, thousands maybe, that just tell me the election results were all my fault, kill yourself, choke on it, fatty, you know, original things like that. Stuff that you all get every day, I'm sure. But I replied, "Too many weird, wild things to count. The most surreal was hearing back from At Midnight, which I love. And I got to go on the show. It was amazing." And then Chris Hardwick himself responds to me, "We love you too, Kenneth. It delighted me to hear you read my tweet. Thank you for doing the show, encouraging people to vote, and being an all-around good dude. P.S. Team Mystic." And I did not see that he put this for about 12 hours, and I'm sorry I didn't respond back to you, Chris. You're the greatest. You're my favorite comic. I love At Midnight. Other pandering phrases. Thank you. Thank you so much. Here Comes the King, which is Snoop Dogg, as most of you know, says, "K-Bone, when you coming through to the doggy den for a little chit-chat, I got something special at the crib for you." And I told him I'm in LA late next week. Maybe we can hook up. Big fan. My dad wants to roll with the dog. You and me could do some tight stuff. And just hearing me read that, you can appreciate the sentiment that I gave him, that didn't sound cool at all. I never did get to meet up with Snoop Dogg. Snoop, I'm sorry. You are the greatest. You really are the king. Maybe someday. But I'm not holding out hope. I'm not exactly as high profile and cool as I was 5 weeks ago. And it goes down probably 50% a day. Hosea0220 asked, "Who told you it was a good idea to use your real Reddit username?" Nobody. It was a bad call. I need to fire my agent, except I can't because I'm my agent. So, Bone Zone, guys, that was just a little bit more about my Reddit AMA, a little more insight into my life. I'm wondering, what do you want to see on this channel? What do you want to see me talking about? I'll probably do a video coming up on the election results and the protests. Just a little preview of that. Go ahead and protest. It's your right. We all have to work together, so keep it civil. If you are on the Trump side, keep it civil. I don't want to hear any more stories about bullying or violence on either side. But get out there and make your voice heard. That's great. I'll probably also make a video on energy policy, since everyone loves to ask me about that. It'll be a little more serious and even less fun to watch than this one was. But after that, I'm open to ideas. What do you guys want to see? And until then, I'm Ken Bone, and I approve this message.